Welcome to Sound of Fury Book Reviews. As usual, I am Tina. Today I'm doing a one-off book review of Interfaces, which is a novel by P. Anilak, which is a hard sci-fi kind of psychological thriller from May of 2021, so a couple months ago. So I received this book as an ebook in exchange for fair review as part of Breakeven Books' tour of this novel. I've linked his channel down below. Interfaces is a contemplative and complex hard sci-fi that raises interesting questions about the future of our world. So the story follows a small group of characters as they grapple with the discovery of dual connection within a virtual space. So I'll explain that in a minute. The novel has this tagline on the cover, a sci-fi thriller about the future of the mind. I would instead consider it more of an extrapolation into emerging technologies that could impact society. In truth, I didn't find much thriller about it, but that didn't detract from my enjoyment of the novel. While it takes a bit to adapt to kind of the structure of the novel, I did very much enjoy it. It doesn't read like a typical book in that it's clear the characters are kind of standing in for concepts or approaches. They do have some personality, but the story is less about their journey as people than the concepts that are being presented. So what are these concepts? In this vision of the future, people have what are called converters installed like behind their ears. This allows their consciousness to connect to all the other devices that they use. In a sense, their minds become part of the machine and the machine becomes part of their mind. I guess that's why it's converting, their consciousness. The issue or dilemma of the story is when characters discover a way to link two consciousnesses together, so two people's consciousness together. This is just one aspect of the story, though. There are far more complex, speculative ideas kind of brought in, but this is the one that kind of permeates kind of the whole thing. Now, there is a very large info dump at the start, which usually would annoy me, but this book kind of required it because you really do have to understand the concept to follow the plot, to understand kind of what's at stake. Regarding the plot, though, this is kind of where the novel felt a little flat for me. The second half of the novel follows another character all of a sudden, which I found a bit jarring and a little confusing. I wasn't entirely sure why his perspective kind of was required. As I mentioned before, the characters aren't really people, in a sense. They're more like vehicles for transmitting these ideas. I wish they had been fleshed out a little bit further. The world building is quite interesting, though. Society is organized in a different way than it is now. There's a focus on policing in the novel, which I wish had a bit of more of an in-depth overview, because I wasn't really sure how these police, they're not called police anymore, but how they relate to the government and how the government functioned. We didn't really get a lot about that kind of aspect of the world. More about kind of the personal way that people interact with technology. The prose is a bit lofty, I will say, and uses language that I found engaging but might put off some people because it's very technical and full of jargon. And while the technological aspects of the story were very futuristic, some of the social concepts could have used a lot more focus. Also, they kept talking about a man-made womb, like all the time, but this phallocentric language didn't really fit with this supposedly gender-neutral society. I found that actually quite distracting, and I wondered why that wasn't addressed. Anyway, overall though, I found this short little novel to be an interesting extrapolation into the nature of consciousness and technology. I am giving it a 4 out of 5 stars. I recommend it to anyone who likes, I guess like Greg Egan, like that kind of thing. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Permutation City, or anyone who likes kind of very tech-heavy novels that focus on AI or the future of cloud computing, that kind of stuff. It is definitely if you like that kind of concept, you would probably enjoy this a lot. So yeah, thank you for watching, and check out Interfaces.